All right, meeting is going to begin. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Laura O'Connell, please.
Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, Pledge of Allegiance to the Republic.
Flag.
United
of the Republic, for which it
the
stands,
nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
justice
with
for all.
liberty and justice for all.
All right, I will not miss the asynchronous reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, thank you, Laura. Cheryl, the roll call, please.
Sure. Kim Connor,
Here,
Dennis Gagnon is not here. Peter Lewis,
Here.
Laura O'Connell,
Here.
Neil Toman,
Here.
Heidi Wendell, here. Neil Zuckerman.
Here. All right, we have a quorum, and thank you. All right, so welcome to this special meeting. We have one agenda item. I do want to say something at the top of the hour. As some know, I think even our own board was late to this. The governor has rescinded his emergency order that left our obligations to the open meetings law aside, or put them aside. So we are now back in them, and therefore, and that takes place, I guess, tomorrow. So that means our next meeting will be live. We'll be back to live and no longer Memorex as a board. And I will say that that is a nice thing to hear after, I think this will be our 17th meeting, maybe 18th meeting we've had, with at least 3 special meetings. And that was taking, I believe we took the March and April meetings off, or maybe it was just the March meeting off last year, given that we weren't sure what to do. I do want to say a couple of things. One, I want to thank, first off, Kelly McIntyre, who's no longer our board secretary, but it was very difficult to move all this digitally. It was not easy to make sure it was available. It was noticed to the public. It was available. It was convenient. That was very hard. To Seal, thank you for you and your team putting this together digitally. We know that Zoom has now become quite a normal and easy product, but at the time it was newfangled for many people. I want to thank you, my fellow board members, for all your efforts. I know it's not easy to do things on Zoom. Yes, you don't have to travel, but it's harder to pay attention. The meetings go longer. Having people say, "Can you see my screen?" or "You're on mute," or some of the more annoying phrases that we've all come to get used to. So thank you for your diligence, and certainly to Steve and Cheryl and Ron and Abstentia, thank you as well. I also want to say to the applicants, I know it's been harder to present and harder to engage, and certainly to the public, in some ways easier because you don't have to travel, but in other ways harder for those who have a digital divide. And one of our own board members, as we know, has had some difficulty with Wi-Fi in his part of Philipstown, and I'm sure there's others. So it's been grinding, but I will say we've kept the wheels on the bus of this government going. And in the spirit of the obligation that President Kennedy all charged us with to serve the public, well, we have served and we've done it well. And we've stayed transparent, and we've ensured the transparency in the process and trust in our little part of government. So I thank you. I'm excited to transition back to being in person. We're working on a location. We expect we will be in town hall, which this board actually, at least in my 10 years, has never been in town hall, but I'd be excited to go to the newly renovated town hall. It will be TBD, but we'll get it announced. We'll get it decided, Cheryl, before we notice our location. And I can't wait to see each of you in person. It's going to be a nice milestone. So with that, Steve, you want to just give a little more detail to the public about the governor's rescission of his executive order?
Yes, the governor yesterday actually issued a proclamation lifting the state of emergency in New York. There were in place executive orders for various provisions under suspending certain laws and mandating other things. The governor's proclamation lifting the state of emergency provided that he would not extend those executive orders. They are going to expire on whatever date they were set to expire on. It so happens that the executive order pertaining to allowing remote municipal meetings expires tomorrow. So we had a little bit of a panic earlier today thinking that this meeting couldn't go forward legally, but fortunately the governor has allowed that executive order to remain in place until tomorrow. So this will be the last, at least that we know of, remote meeting the planning board will be holding, and the board is free to go forward with the special meeting on the Desmond Fish Library application tonight.
All right, great. And with that, I'll turn it over to Kim for our single agenda item related to Desmond Fish Library. I am recused from that matters. So she is the acting chair for this topic. Kim, over to you.
Okay, so Ron Gaynor has prepared approval resolutions for, I believe, both secret and, that we usually do too. And so before we vote on those, I just want to know if anybody has any further comments on the Desmond Fish Library project. Okay.
The only thing I would add, Kim, is that although the resolutions are just fine as far as that goes, I do not believe the applicant has submitted an affidavit of posting of the notice sign, or at least if they have, I haven't seen it. I don't know, Cheryl, if you've seen one. No, maybe. So
Right.
that should be submitted before the site plan is signed, if it hasn't been submitted already.
Yes, Anita has it and she's going to get it to me shortly.
Very good. But I mean, you can act on the resolutions, just that has to be handed in before the site plan is signed.
Okay. So given that, if someone would like to make a motion can we make a motion for both resolutions simultaneously? Steve?
I think in this instance, it's pretty innocuous. Generally, you don't want to do that because then you don't know what people are voting for one way or the other. But if you want
All
to,
right, that's true.
here, you can.
So if someone would like to make a motion that we approve both resolutions, I'm ready to hear that. Heidi, and second. Peter, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. So that's it for this portion of this meeting. Thank you all for coming. We will, now my mind has totally flown. So
Motion
I
to
was going to
adjourn.
motion to adjourn. That's what it is. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Peter, second. Laura, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. No abstentions. Thank you all for coming. See you in July.
All right. Thanks so much.
Good night, guys.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. All right, take care, everybody.